midterms. They are not the biggest draw for voters. We know that. But the 2018 midterms drew a higher voting turnout than in years past.
And so far, the 2022 midterms, well, they are on track to shatter 2018 records. Across the state, we've really seen this.
That's right. 2,148,035 people have voted, either in person during one-stop early voting or by mail. The State Board of Elections says that's a nearly 13% increase over the very same time during the last midterms in 2018. More than 101,000 people voted early in Guilford County alone, over 74,000 voted early in Forsyth, and more than 32,000 voted early in Alamance County.
After the last few elections, a lot of people have had trouble trusting the polls. There's actually some experts who say it might be better to look at how people are betting on politics. And it's not just happening in Vegas, but also through websites like predictit.org. Here's the deal. More than 100,000 people are now betting on politics through the website predictit.org.
Overall, I've put about $60,000 into Predictit in my
Hold
time.
on, did you say 60,000?
$60,000, yes.
Trevor Buckman won all of that back, plus another 19 grand.
It's stressful, but it's so much fun. And I feel so tuned into the political world right now in a way even beyond anything that I've done before.
The website started as part of a global academic research project studying how well financial markets work at predicting outcomes.
Increasingly, polls are less reliable and more difficult and expensive to conduct, and they're out of date the minute the questions have been asked. And markets, on the other hand, are quite accurate, surprisingly so. They're not perfect, but markets are much more accurate.
For example, former President Donald Trump won North Carolina in 2020. But going into Election Day, the average of all major political polls had President Biden up 1.9%. Predictit users, on the other hand, had Trump up by 3 points.
Get a very accurate forecast. It's, affectionately known as wisdom of crowds. You also have some other interesting things happening, Ben. You get real engagement by people who have a little bit of skin in the game. They discard and start to disregard a lot of the fake news that circulates out there and focus on the facts.
Predictit sometimes feels like a second job.
Trevor is a former DC insider who now works as a public defender. But he spends countless hours flushing out research for his bets.
Going through every senator's voting history, putting together spreadsheets, getting on C-SPAN, trying to find the fastest feed of C-SPAN. It turns out their radio app is quicker than their live stream that they have. So that was the one to listen into.
Professors at the University of North Carolina found this kind of effort has made political betting pretty accurate at predicting winners in the past. They looked at gambling odds from 1868 to 1940. The resulting betting odds almost always correctly predicted election outcomes well in advance. The big question, how did the traders on Predictit predict the midterm elections? Well, they say there is actually a 71% chance that Republicans will pick up both the House and the Senate. And they give Republican Ted Budd a 91% chance of beating Democrat Sherry Beasley for North Carolina's open Senate seat. Of course, all of that depends on how many people actually show up to vote.
Well, one of the reasons political pundits expect Republicans to do well tomorrow is because of inflation. CBS This Morning's Gail King shows how it's impacting voters on both sides of the aisle, talking with a Republican and a Democrat.
So everybody knows economy and inflation are top issues for women voters. You would agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Even though I am retired and 80, I still think about finding a job to supplement.
Wow.
I'm whatever. I know I can do something. I've got a fairly sharp mind.
No, you have a very sharp mind. But do you want to work? Do you want to? Or are you doing it because you think you have to?
I think I want to. Right now, I'm taking care of my brother, who is slightly disabled, and my husband, who may come home from a nursing home. What I want to do is take some of the pressure off of my children who have been helping me.
Are you one of those women voters where it is top of mind for you, and has your budget been affected?
Yes, it is absolutely top of mind for me and the CFO of our household, my husband.
The CFO of the household, your husband?
Yes.
Who is the CEO?
I mean, is there any?
There's no doubt.
But we have regular reviews of our budget, and gas definitely has gone up. We are paying a lot in groceries. At one point in time, lunch at school for our kids was free because of COVID. We are now back to paying their lunch every day,
Which adds up.
Which adds up.
Here's something else that's adding up on the ballot tomorrow in the election. Right now, Republicans control both chambers of the state legislature. If they pick up 3 seats in the House and 2 in the Senate, they'll get a supermajority. That means Republicans can override any veto from Governor Roy Cooper. The state Supreme Court could also flip to GOP control.
Well, before you head out to vote tomorrow, the State Board of Elections has a few things for you to know. First, polls are open from 6:30 in the morning till 7:30 on Election Day. If you are in line at 7:30 p.m., you will still be able to cast a ballot. And this is big, you do not have to show any kind of ID to vote. Second, voters have an assigned Election Day polling place. You can find where yours is through the Board of Elections voter or polling place search.
Third, most people cannot register to vote on Election Day. If you became a U.S. citizen after the October 14th deadline or are convicted of a felony and got out of jail or prison after that deadline, you can still register. Otherwise, you won't be able to vote in this election. Election results will be updated throughout the night starting at 7 o'clock.
Yep, and you're going to be able to track the results as they come in right here on WFMY News 2. And we're going to have updates on air throughout the entire night. Or, get this, you can watch our election digital special from 8 until 10 p.m. on our website, YouTube, WFMY Plus, or your free streaming service.
And it is a free streaming service for you to download on Roku TV or Fire Stick.